To our viewers, welcome back. Thanks again for joining national television for the second time from the grounds of the Temple of Justice in Monrovia. Former House Speaker Canadian Phone and Koffa and the other have pleaded not guilty.
So the press just pleaded not guilty to all of the. Why so?
Why? Because I'm not guilty. But you have to follow, right, the reading of the indictment. If you notice, two things I will point out to you. The first is the indictment is more about the 17 riot, right, and communications therein. Very little about the fire. The indictment mentions nothing that any of the lawmakers did except by generalization. But the most interesting thing about the indictment, it has a letter, right, from Kivi Bar to Honorable Dixon Sibo purporting to admit. I've said this before and I will say it to you again all the time. It's common sense. That's what we use in the law. How many of you these days can write a letter and a text message, you understand?
Okay. Koffa, so for the reading of the indictment and for the account you just gave, it means that you have a strong defense in this matter.
No, that means that the prosecution don't have any case because there's no case to make. This is all politics and it will unravel as quickly as they put it together.
Are you hopeful for impression of Victoria?
Of course. I mean, where there's no evidence, the only verdict is a not guilty verdict. And that will be determined by the jury.
So he is the former House Speaker, Geneton Council Volunteer Koffa, but we are still trying to speak with other lawyers who also were in court. So, like I said earlier, the indictment was read. The indictment was read by the criminal court here at the Temple of Justice in Monrovia, but Councillor Volunteer Koffa and others have pleaded not guilty, meaning the burden has not been shifted on the government of Liberia to provide all pieces of evidence that will lead to the prosecution of the former House Speaker, Councillor Geneton Volunteer Koffa and others. So we are still here making sure to bring you the live happening. The former House Speaker just departed. I'm still trying to make way to speak with as lawyer representing the government of Liberia. I didn't see the Solicitor General of the Republic of Liberia in Coron. I didn't see the grand jury for Moserado County, that is Moserado County and Tolling. I didn't see him, but I'm still here making sure that I bring you full happening. I'm still here making sure to bring you full happening here from the grounds of the Temple of Justice in Monrovia. So, like I was saying, I've been joined by a veteran judicial reporter whom should normally stands, and this morning both of us were in criminal court 8 where the indictment was read, and I will join Peter Toby very, very shortly as we have interaction. Interaction on this the not guilty indictment that was just responded to by former House Speaker Geneton, Councillor Volunteer Koffa and others. So here we come. Yes, I mean we can do it right here. So Mr. Tobe, we have been in the courtroom and we follow activity. The much awaited indictment have been read. What's your take? And they pleaded not guilty. What's your take?
Well, obviously, you will expect the defendants to come with a plea of not guilty, and the guilty plea, we can all say that has set the stage now for the legal battle, because the plea now has shifted the burden of proof on government's lawyer, consistent with Chapter 25, Section 25.5 of the Criminal Procedure Law, that will allow the government to parade all the evidence, including the witnesses, in order to prove the claims against them. But prior to me coming on air with you, you listened to the indicted House Speaker, Afonati Koffa. He said the reading of the indictment at all about years said, and they strongly believe that they have a strong defense and the state do not have a case against them. But that will normally be his voice. So let's wait and see at what would happen when the case resumes. So at this stage, the case has been postponed for tomorrow, looking at the sidebar that took place in the court before some of the defense lawyer had left for another case before the Supreme Court. As you may be aware, the Supreme Court is also listening to the prohibition that was filed by the ex-finance ministers, Samuel Twe. So they are seeing, they pleaded with the court for time. But I think from the discussions, the court said, but it will be better let arraign the defendants to plead to the indictment, then we can push time for the selections of jurors. So that is where they are now, because some of the key lawyers like Councillor Arthur Johnson, Waking Right, they are all in that Samuel Twe case. So Geneton Massacre, they are all in some crucial cases before the Supreme Court. So the court, I think you listen to the Judge Roosevelt Willie, who happened to be the resident judge, and that is proceeding over the case, gave them that time, but he wanted for the indictment to be read to the defendants, and the indictment was read. I think you listen to the plead in a loud voice, they are not guilty. So this means that the burden of proof have now been shifted on the government's lawyer. And the government remain confident, like when I had a chat with the Solicitor General, Councillor Augustine Fire, who was also in court error, but then he left for the Supreme Court to also give the account in that case that have been filed by the former finance ministers. They all remain confident that they have the evidence. As you may be aware, they are also submitted all pieces of evidence to the defense team before the case can kick off, probably tomorrow. But the issue about jury selections, that would be one of the difficult issues in this matter, because I'm expecting probably maybe 2 to 3 weeks in getting the full panel of the jurors. We're talking about 15-man panel of jurors, but you will have 12 who will go into the deliberation room after listening to all the evidence and then come down with a verdict in the case. So it's a long battle, but we'll wait and see. And don't be surprised if you see some remaining rate coming from this matter again that happened prior coming to this stage. Probably some could be running out if they're in disagreement with some of the decision that will be taken by the court. So there's a long legal battle at Aaron.
So to bit, I wanted to do a bit of synopsis about this case and the genesis. When this case started, it first started on December 14, when this whole incident took place at the Capitol building. But it's all started from the impasse that took place from the power struggle between the former House Speaker and the current Speaker, Reggie Nangbe Kun. But looking at it, we have other lawmakers also that were indicted. And later on, when they went to, they were accused when they went to the Liberia National Police, their charges were dropped. Speaking of Bon County District Number 3 lawmaker, Josiah Marvin Cole, District Number 9 representative as well, Francis Afoko. But we still have District Number 5 representative Priscilla Cooper. But in recent time, I have not seen Priscilla Cooper being actively involved into this case since the case came to the magisterial level and now is at the criminal court A. What is happening? You have been here for a couple of years.
I think let's get the facts straight in this matter, because I heard you talking about some other lawmakers who was part of this this entire episode at the Capitol building. They were accused. So at that time, the police were conducting investigations, but when the police concluded with the investigations, some of the lawmakers were not linked to the act that took place on December 18 at the Capitol building. So they were not included in the charge sheet, like Cole and Foucault that you just named. But as to Representative Priscilla Cooper, yes, she was part of the charge. But what I've gathered from the entire a prosecution team is that she is not a charge in connection to the braining, but rather to some destructions that took place when she was heard on that issues. The issue about renovating the joint chamber where the chairs and things were broken. So I think that is the charges they have against us. But she is not part of the braining of the Capitol building, so that is why you are not seeing her in court. So her issue is from what we are gathering is a separate trial for her in connection to her crime, as to whether the state could drop charges against us. That not for me to say it, but just to come to what you were just alluding to, as to some lawmakers was either invited for investigations, but the police did not see any claims against some, so they were not included. But as to procedure, her under charge is quite different from Koffa's and 14 others. Remember now that just only few defendants is before the court, because the total number of people that were indicted was 14. But you have, let's say, about 5 lawmakers and 6 other suspects who are still being barred due to the failure to file a valid criminal appearance bond. The bond that they filed for the entire, for the rest, for all of the defendants, the bond has some defects, so the judge denied that bond. So they are yet to secure a bond for the other 6 defendants that is in prison, even though some was clear to be flat risks by the court and 3 were not flat risks, but they are yet to obtain a valid criminal appearance bond to get them out. So that is why they are still in prison. So as I said, let's wait and see. It is a long legal battles that we're expecting here at Criminal Code 8 at Aaron.
Yeah, this is a national case out there, home and abroad. Liberians want to see the outcome of this particular case. Looking at the Capitol building, which is a national symbol where our law has been made, where you have representatives from the 73 electoral districts in the republic, where they sit and all our activities normally takes place there. And looking at the burning or the return where they normally sits, what do you think would be the picture like when this case shall have resumed in criminal court? You have followed other cases, other notable cases, but
I think Aaron,
looking at the character involved, looking at lawyers, their past record. Come and think about it.
I think, as you rightly said, Liberians abroad, even at home, are all curious to see this entire proceeding, or how does it go. That is why you see that everyone is following the case. The fact that is in court, despite our justice take time, intense litigations, they are all patients, and I want to believe that they are all patients. The fact that they have been in the court since let's say since December or January, everyone have been eager. But one of the things that stalled the entire case is these pre-trial motions that were filed by the defendant. The defendant filed several pre-trial motions. There are uncountable pre-trial motions that they filed, and between me and you, they did not succeed in most of the pre-trial motions, and that is why I delayed the matter. The fact that we are come at the stage where the indictment have been read to them and they plead not guilty, I think everyone now is curious now if people who were following and then decide to lose interest. I think they will now come back to see that how it all goes, because the state is now about to produce evidence, but we'll wait and see after the selection, because they pray for jury trial. The defendant can always have that latitude of time or of saying as to what they want. So they say they want jury trial, so they are now going to select the jurors, as I said earlier, as the best criminal lawyers are in a major case, so that prolong the time for tomorrow. So tomorrow the panel will be coming and they will be selecting the tired jurors to get the 15 men, because they court need 15 panel jurors, but only 12 will be keenly listening. Even though all 15 will be listening, but 3 there will be alternative, and then you will have 12 who will be going in the deliberation room when the matters have concluded, when both sides have rested with the productions. But it's a long trial, and I can give you a time frame as to when the entire trial will stop, but it's a long trial. And as we speak now, as I said earlier, the Supreme Court is entertaining legal argument in the prohibition that filed by Samuel 12 on ground that his actions, on ground that his actions were strictly a presidential actions, and so he is immune from prosecutions as provided by the provided by the constitutions. And the state is saying, no, what you did the outside of the law, so you need to face the law in connection to the amount that you people use, and you people are tying it to national security concerns at Iran.
So to stay with this capital building case, looking at this whole case, the indictment have been read, they are pleaded not guilty, but one may say at this juncture now, normally circuit court's term is 42, and since the opening today is open last Monday and today is Monday, and you can make an emphasis on the time and the volume of the case, looking at pre-trial motion and other things that will interplay between the case. So do you think this case will be tried in this particular court term, to come out final verdict?
I think the term will exceed. That means that we'll get into probably another term, and because the characters that are involved are not taking the case lightly. Likewise, the government too has not taken the case lightly. But the fact that the government have given what we call discovery, which is the evidence, meaning that they are prepared for this case. And between me and you, from the time we've been here following this matter, all the motions that have been filed came from the defense team. And the defense lawyers believe that the client's character is at stake, and they are reputable people in government. Just imagine we're talking about 5 lawmakers who are representing our district that have confidence in them and to have them in the house, and then they'll be accused of that. So their character is at stake. So they will do everything possible to put out a strong defense, and between me and you, they will not leave no stone unturned. And the word in connection to the law that they feel that they're not certified, they will definitely be going up on summary. Not summary per se, but through a remedial rate. What are such worries? What are the mandamus, or what are prohibition